first time that I think I've set up broadcasting and streaming straight to YouTube. So I don't actually know if it's functioning properly, because usually I drop this in on Twitch, but oh, it's super quiet. Hmm. Oh, it must be super quiet because I got the sound down. Okay. Anyways, I think I'm good. Um, so I finally the game finally came back up. This is Wolcen, the lovely world, Lords of Mayhem. And I've been playing online with a buddy. Servers went down over the weekend, which is kind of sad, but being a federal employee, I got my 4-day. So I spent a lot of Monday kind of messing around with some stuff. We got pretty far into the game, beat it, and unlocked. So once you beat the end of Act 3, you open up Champions of Stormfall. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you right now. If you are a Diablo player, like Diablo 3, and you understand this, and you've played Diablo 2 with, like, how to like customize your character settings, or if you've played Pillars of Eternity, you're gonna immediately notice a lot, a lot of stuff that is basically crosses over the line between the two, or between the three games, really. The Diablo franchise and PoE is probably what I can best relate this to. And it'll make the most sense. So, Endgame is all about, as far as I can tell right now, from where I'm at, I've done it a couple times. I've watched maybe a couple videos, but like I kind of went into this blind, like I didn't want somebody else's opinion, really, on how things should be going. I created an offline character to kind of test out builds, and I played with this Bleeding Edge, and I kind of went a lot of full-on crit, and then I decided that it's kind of difficult to play because there's a lot of health potions and stuff, or like you take a lot of damage just kind of running in, and this is not a, as you can see at level 50, I mean, my HP is not, it's not bad, but like the whole concept of this is just to hope that Life Leech and crits will save you. So far, it's worked out pretty nicely. I've found this crazy gore maker shard of the Red Mountain, and it was better than the great sword that I was using. So I decided to try and wing it with this, and then I bought the book like off of the special vendor, the faded vendor. But this drop went perfectly with all the bleed damage that Bleeding Edge does, and then rend damage also. So I was like, well, I mean, it's better than what I've got. It doesn't have like great stats on it, but they're not bad, so why not? And then this catalyst is like totally random. Like I don't use any spells, as you can see down here at the bottom. But I only have one other unique shield, and this does 22% rage regen and 47% attack damage, and it does a 50% transfer time of bounce in it. So I was like, well, like, why not? And the combination is pretty freaking sick. I'm sitting an average of 4,100 damage right now, with a 61% crit chance and 413% damage output. Bleed is 11%. Rage on hit is 91. Plus, when I take hits, I regen rage, which is super critical for a bleeding edge build. They don't really talk much about this from what I've seen from other videos and whatnot, where like the cost of bleeding edge and you not using like the down rage because you need the point for something else, or decreasing the rage usage, you need a lot of like rage regen. And then yeah, so rage on hit is 25, rage on kill is 35, and then life leech right there is 4.8, which is actually sad because it dropped because I had to switch gear around. I may switch it back. We'll see. So like right there, like a gold life leech. Most of my rings are rocking crit chance. And then all of my gear is trying to be centered around some sort of crit chance and ferocity. Material damage, raw, like that right there, 11% raw damage is really, really, really good. You'll notice the biggest increases to your attack stats from that. And then, I mean, all of my gear, nothing special. It's all just really just junk. I'm sure if it's like right there, level 21, required level. I'm level 50. Required level 21. But like some of the, like the stats are just so good that I've not found anything better. You know, 24 ferocity, rend, and then it's got material and resistances. Freaking sweet. I had a crazy low. I don't remember where it's at, but it was like level 10, and it had, I think it was this shoulder, and then I got one that mirrored that, so it has toughness. So just, I mean, that's the overall gist of like what I was going for. But so end game comes up, press N for November, and this thing this thing pops up, and then you like look at it. If this is red where it says start project, it means that you can't, it means you can't do it. There's a prior requirement that you have to accomplish, and it took me a hot second of sitting here going like, where, okay,
excuse me,
all of these have red project start. So like this, there's no requirement, but this frickin' primordial, was it affinity? That stuff is hard to come by. And maybe it's just because I'm level 50 and it's early on, but like I have all 50 skills, and so every time I get these, I just consume them, and trying to get, just like you can see right there, I haven't spent any since I hit endgame, and I'm still, I think I might get maybe 1,000 a run, maybe. So if there's another way, like something like this,
mind wanders like that. What did I have to say?
projects that convert gold into primordial,
You're in need of a lot of magical energy, correct?
But see, this is at the end of level 2, which committing I'm right now. So
my lord, do you have something for us?
So you start
Hello,
up here in Palace,
I will assemble
and
the
there was a
council.
planning committee 1, and that opens everything else up, and then you start doing these, and there's a planning committee 2, which you can see right here I'm working on, and then once that one's done, it opens up the rest of the stuff. So these are the 3 primaries where you should start. And this, color me crazy, I'm literally going off of my intuition on this because I haven't watched anything and I haven't seen anything. I've looked for endgame content, and usually it's just like endgame character builds of people like level 90 who just spammed their days away trying to get to this point. or videos of Wolcen that are way too early, you know, and they don't even have like a third skill ring.
If there's nothing left to discuss,
Stuff like that. And then
perhaps
all
the
of these,
council
I'm
should
assuming,
adjourn for
just
now.
increase productivity to make this stuff go by quicker. So there's I think that this is added to whatever the end game or the end of the mission bonus is. So each one of these does something a little different. Like this one, you get a passive skill point, which is pretty sweet. Primordial essence meter will be permanently increased. I don't really know what that means. I'm assuming that that's the rage meter for your primordial like shift. There's your 5th skill slot, so that's the one that's down in the front right here.
Where are you thinking of sending the Seekers today? Somewhere dangerous by any
So
chance?
these here, so like this one receives gold, this one receives mage armor, this one receives warrior armor. Like it's red because I'm 3 of 3, so I have too many projects going. But this is,
What? Oh,
I don't,
it's you. I was just.
I don't know if they go
So,
out and get
what'll
you
it be?
stuff, or if this is just something that like you do the expedition with them or for them. So yeah, I'm not too far into the end game, but I haven't seen anything on it, so I was like, you know what? Somebody's got to say something about it. Otherwise, like, what's the point of doing end game? So, and then the point of end game is 2 things. So this is the mandates board, and these are just one-off. It's a straight shot. Actually, we probably got time to do this and to show you kind of what's going on. I just loaded up the game, so it's
Pick me up a souvenir.
kind of hicking up a little bit, and apparently I'm pinging out at like 200 plus. There we go, back down. I got a bear. As you can see, the crits are fugly. It's insane. Skadoosh. So, basically, there is, in Diablo, there's the rifts. So this would be like the equivalent of just a normal rift. But there's not a gauge. So like a yellow gauge in a regular rift versus like purple in a greater rift. This is not. So like this build is just sick. As long as you can maintain your rage, which a lot of people don't tell you, sits there and bounces. So in using the blades, what the fuck is up with the bear? In using the blades, it is going to push the rage across to the willpower side, and then your Wings of Ishmir and Sovereign Shout are your generators. So that's what sends them back up. So you'll notice like when it's like 3 arrows going over back and forth, like that's it, pulling it to one side or the other. And then you can change it back by shouting or by jumping in and shredding. So kills will push it also. The whole goal right here for this part it's difficult. You got to time it right with that guy, because those balls that come in, when they come into where you're at, they will just annihilate you. I don't know what the heck they're made out of, but they're not friendly. I already have that? So you got to get around him. When he starts to do the balls on the outside, like you want to move to the outside and roll, get the hell out of there, because if they not, it'll one-shot me pretty easily. And oddly enough, almost to the end. I don't know where homeboy went. Come on. Oh, there he is. So, and that's it. It doesn't give you an option to extend. That's an expedition. So this is like, you know, you got a few minutes to spare. Like, what was that? Less than 10 minutes. And you just go and talk to it again, and you're done. Boom.
We should probably catch up with all the stuff.
So it gives you gold, no experience because you get whatever you get from the inside. It's all trash, so doesn't really matter, I guess. So I want to say that. So okay, so the base productivity. So I've completed a couple of them already, and that is where it starts, and it goes up from there. So it takes the base of what I've got plus what I earned here. So I added what, 20, not even, 18, 17. So that one mandate gave me 17. So it's not bad, kind of trash. And as you can see, like that. So I only got, what, 1,000? Also, if I see any questions about this, the easy way to say it is that you, for all of your hardships in trying to get through the game, and the game early on, I'm totally going to justify this, so you can say what you want. Early on the game did rollback, not on purpose. It, like, people, like, there's plenty of people on that played the level 40 with a friend and closed the game, and they were reset to Act 1 in the very beginning with a level 40 character. Like, they'd never started or played the game. They just magically started with level 41. So, wow, that's a lot of force shield.
The quality on this one is unmatched.
So, this is not hacking. It's literally, all you do is you just stack and unstack gems. Like back and forth. Saw that +5 life leech. Oof. 25 to attacks. Oh, here's a tip for you. So, this one. Okay, so this one here. So the text is white 433 health on this piece. But see, the one that I'm wearing says text is blue. Blue text is the base plus whatever is underneath at the bottom, underneath it. So 433 on the right one is just base health, and there is no blue stat that affects health. On the left side, the 632 is not the base. It's the multiplied damage by plus 59% health on this item. So whatever the base was, plus 59% of the base added to the base, if that makes sense. So the 59% health on this item is incorporated into the text. That's why it's blue.
Oh, well,
So blue is affected text, white is not, which is important to know because of something like this. This weapon does 115 to 196 total damage, but at the bottom right there it says 26 to 51 physical damage is added to this weapon, but it's not blue. So does it affect it? We'll find out in a sec, because technically it's higher total damage than what I've got, plus it's got 5% life leech on it. So I may be getting rid of I guarantee it's going to be the combination of these two are probably higher.
You know, Mojave is
But anyways,
always
so
the best value.
duplicating, the only thing that you can duplicate is jewels. So the concept to get money is that you take 2 jewels that are the same and they're stacked. So there's a number 2 at the bottom, and you just hold down shift and you check them, or you hold down shift and you click it and you move it off of it to like the next slot, and then you continue to hold shift and you just pick up the one that was left behind and put it on top of the other one, and then you pick up, you split the stack again, and you take the one that the one that you split and you drop it next to it. So like this, check this out. This ends in a 0. This ends in a 9-9. So this is not the actual score. The actual score, or the actual gold value, is hundreds, thousands, millions, this is 76 trillion in gold. Yeah. So, ooh, 17 to crit, 21.
Do not let me rush you.
No.
However, Mojave is a busy man. You know, Mojave
I'll
is
show you here in a
always
second
the
what I'm
best
talking
value.
about. Plus 33 ferocity, 8% cooldown. If you had ferocity and attack speed, I'd be all about that. But that's a lot of health to lose too.
The quality on this one is unmatched.
Alright, so check it out. Open up your chest, find a gem with a 2 value. Drop it down. Hold down shift, click the gem, and it splits, drop it. Now look at the value. All I did was split the gem, but if you're not paying attention, it's crazy shit. So the value of the original gem is 378. The new value is 756. So fun fact, I'm still holding shift. Click it, drop it back on. Split it again. It multiplied it by 2. Drop it, split it, drop it, split it, drop it, split it, drop it, split it. Now this is one gem, 12,000 gold. This one's 24. 12, 24, 48. 96. So all I did was just move that thing around. Now when I sell these, that's $6 million because there's 2 of them. What's that you say? Now there's 12 million. 24 million. 48 million. So as you can see, look at the value on that one. That's 100,000 million. It's 24 billion times 2. I just have those sitting down there just as a potential parting gift. Should they do server rollback or something happens or whatnot. Apparently this game really wants me to have deep orange dye. So, but that's how you do that. And like I said, it's not hacking. All I'm doing is just splitting it, dropping it, and splitting it again. Crazy. I don't know how they haven't caught on to that. But like the base value of these, it's between 350. See? Just from splitting them out of my inventory. Boom. So that's a right click. Just holding shift and doing, or sorry, a left click. So holding shift and doing left click, and it just multiplies them. And it would just happen to stumble upon it. A guy that I play with online usually, his buddy was like, dude, this is crazy. And I was like, no way. And apparently, like, it's just is what it is. So that's how I got the gold. That's my explanation. As far as endgame build, a lot of people will tell you that I mean everything, literally everybody will tell you, every build that you see, everything, or damn near everything goes into ferocity. Like, that's just is what it is. But a lot of them rely on other things. So like if I'm using a great sword, I want to at least zero out the fact that if I use a great sword, it's negative 25 to attack speed. That's slow as hell. Yeah, it does a lot more damage, but if you put enough into agility, you can actually get a base 0 score. The reason that this is so much better than this, I mean, look at the difference. All this does is what? 6. So 28 and 65 is 93. So, okay, so they're adding the physical and the rend together to get a total damage value. Same goes with this, but there's no... I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that 26 to 51%, or 51 physical damage is added into the total already. I just have a feeling that, like, the way that the other pieces work, I know I said the thing about the blue text like this, like the 59% is added into it. Yes, this total isn't blue, but I've never seen a weapon like with blue. So like well, shit. Okay, so maybe not. This defies what I was just saying. So the toxic damage on this blade is 69 to 106, but down below it's 55 to 85. So the question is did the blade come with toxic on it before the blue stat was added? Or question mark? Okay, it must have, because look at that. 25 to 47, 22 to 35. So what makes this one different unless it had toxic on it prior to? Like, I mean, you could do backwards math to say that, 69 minus 55 is what, 14? And then 106 to 85 is like 21. So 14 to 21 toxic was on the blade, plus 55 to 85 toxic is in the blue, which is added to the blade. So I'm going to say that with this and this, that this blade, the blue text is added, is in addition to what is currently already there. So then how I check is I pop back up here, we open this up, I'm at 4180, and it's gonna drop, I know it. Jesus. So 4180, so it dropped by what, 900? So then my question is that
Beauty has a function unto itself.
if we come over here, three, two, one. Oh, and I don't have any gems on me to look at. There was two. You just sit here and roll it over and over and over again. So that's a 3 and a 2 and a 2. I want that 3, 3, 3. I don't know how many rolls it took me last time to do this, but it's a bit fierce. Usually when I'm rolling 2, I sit there and kick myself because I bypass the 3s over and over again. I want to see if I can get 3s on this and then put, what, 36% critical damage on it. Oh my god, come on. The moment that I start going fast like this, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna skip it and then I'm gonna have to like punch myself in the face. Let's see if I can find something decent with 2s. So we're looking at offensive only. 2s give spell damage. Oh, there's nothing on it, so we'll take 2 of those, and then critical hit is fairly positive is what we want. Attack speed might be good. Yeah. What the heck? There we go. So there's 13 crit. And there's 28 to rend. Not even close. Just the blade alone. Oh my god. I want that life leech. That's the biggest problem I've got, is that 5% right there is gold. But look at that. You're talking with 3 gems. I mean, even crits, I think I said is probably, I think the last time I tested it was like 30 points of average damage per like 11 or 13%. So we're only talking 60 points difference, give or take. But this is freaking, that's just stupid. Ugh. It's like I'm trying to get a better blade, but like there's no point in getting a better blade because I've got what I got, and it works really well. Say la vie. Alright. It was a random waste, but like this is the one that I got triple on. Super like crazy difficult to get a hold of. Sell this trash to this guy. No. No yellows. Ooh, a grater.
You have a good eye.
Oh no. Nah, wait a minute. I can go buy that back. This homeboy here decidedly only sells one at a time.
Hi. Please don't
Stupid.
touch anything.
really want to spend this because I really want to get my bleeding edge leveled up, but at the same time, I can't. Okay, so, now that we've gone through... Oh, right. That. So, we constructed the diamond bank. Allows you to store items and equipment in the vault. Just kidding.
Ah, yes. What is it you need from Mojave this time?
We go to our personal chest. Bam. Now I have 3. So, 4 and 5 are undone through the same...
Ah, you're
Right
back.
there's 4 and that one's
Do you
5.
have goods you would like to
Greetings, my lord.
As we go through and
The
learn...
council would like to...
My lord.
Greetings, my lord. I have a renovation project.
Diplomatic
that may be
missions
of
will become
interest to
available. I don't even know what that means. Permanent magic boot. 24,000 primordial. Get out. Just leave.
The City of
get
Discovery.
out.
Isn't that supposed to be one of its names?
Projects that require
Kinda hard to
ships
live up
will
to that
become
name
available.
without any ships.
Eugene.
So the whole concept is basically once you complete the end thing, now you've got to like basically build up Stormfall. And by doing so, you unlock more stuff, and to do so, unlocks a skill duplication feature. Oh, but I don't... So, skill duplication is this tab right here. Basically, you can take Tracker's Reach, but you can modify it in a different way and use it twice, or have like a secondary setup. I don't really think that's like that doesn't do anything for me. So this is the one I want. So now applies bleed, and with a stun, with a duration, and it pulls enemies from all directions, which will help with my bleeding edge and getting all that juicy goodness for Life Leech. I don't know when more points become available. I feel like there should be more. I mean, 8 seems kind of low. I guess I should have looked online at that level 90 guy's stuff. Yeah. I don't know. But, so, then I got this skill. This skill's crazy. So, my showcase, I guess, we'll start at the beginning. I got the Sovereign Shout. And a lot of these just ones are just dropping them into whatever. The whole point for Sovereign Shout is to buff. Move speed's pretty sweet. I'm probably going to have to put into that at some point in time. And Global Life Leech. I need Rage on hit. So maybe it's not going to end up being a buff in the long run. I use Block Chance because that's pretty sweet overall. There's some other stuff that helps with Block Chance. There's also another skill. There's something on the passive tree I thought that turns Block Chance into Crit Chance, which is freaking absurd to me. But if that was the case, man, Bleeding Edge would be just insane. Like, it already has a crit of like 40%. I need to push it higher, plus my weapon damage. I wonder if my weapon damage increases this. I think Bleeding Edge might have its own crit, but... so if I take that off... gonna do Shout. And I really like the global health. Like, that helps out so much when they pop up and they drop at your feet. You're like, oh, look at that, a little present. So, I mean, a stack would be nice, but my fear is that I think there's certain moves that take over certain areas, and I think you're only allotted to have, like, one ailment present or something like that. I don't know, I was reading somewhere, and there's something about, like, the ailments, like, the higher percentage one takes over, in, like, if you had, like, one at, like, 15% bleed, but, like, your toxic was, like, 13%, then, like, bleed would consume the toxic somehow. And I don't know. It sounded a little crazy, but at the same time, like, there's a lot of crazy stuff in this game, so... so I don't know. Maybe so. How long are the buffs increased for? I don't know. Huh. So anyways, Sovereign Shout is what I use to generate. It's one of my generators. My other generator is the Wings of Ishmir. Considering changing, I've seen people who go for the stamina points, and then they use the stamina for Relentless Pursuit, and that is... I feel like that's crazy, and I feel like that's dangerous, because then you can't use it unless you have a stamina up. But then there's no cooldown. So I don't know how that would work. And I feel like if that was the case, then you'd have to take, like, spacebar off of the roll bind. Because I like to roll, apparently. Or so, I don't know. I like to roll around a lot. So, damage dealing shockwave upon landing. So, like, the whole point of this move, obviously there's a lot of movement and rage generation and whatnot, but like this can come off. Cooldown, that can come off. And it's going to have to be weapon damage. And then we drop the vortex in, and when I jump into enemies, I don't know how far away that pulls, but we're about to find out. But it pulls enemies into, like, one central location, I'm assuming, because that's the way it reads, and then Bleeding Edge will take them out. But, so that's a generator, and that's a generator, and the whole purpose of that is to feed your Bleeding Edge. All the other skills really don't, like, have any purpose. Hopefully, like, the change of Tracker's Reach, where it'll spread out and shoot out, and then it'll stun everybody, and it'll cause bleeding. That will build onto Bleeding Edge. But that's, again, just like a vortex, just trying to pull them in. The Warpath, I only have it on here because when you're playing in, the long maps, and you have to go from one side to the other side, and you've got a straightaway Warpath, like, you can... It's insane. It's so stupid. Like, you run so fast that you literally cannot see what's going on. Like, like, the small things smash. Like, if you hit a rock, a tiny rock, it stops you. But it's hilarious. And as long as you've got rage, it just eats through rage, and you can just, like, race across the map. It's the funniest thing on the planet. And then, obviously, my Bleeding Edge. This is the meat and potatoes of the build. When I throw them, they basically follow me, and then they continue spinning for a 4-second plus duration. It's actually 5.45 seconds. So the whole time they're spinning, they're doing crazy amounts of crit damage. I was reading somewhere, I think it was on Reddit, and I was reading a video, and I was testing it out to see. I tried to lower the rage. Oh, I got another point. Woo! So check it. Apparently there's 8 revolutions without this. With the increase, you get like 12 rotations, and 12 rotations, 4 extra rotations is better than the weapon plus 60% because it's not an actual 60. It's like closer to like 50-ish, like 50 plus, give or take. Because when you start stacking, it's never a flat number like that if there's already weapon damage available. And that goes the same for like Diablo. Like the first 20% to fire damage that you have is 20%. But the next one that you add to the build is not 20%. It's closer to like 16%. And then they stack like that. So we increase our projectile speeds, lower the rate of cost of how much it's going to end up being, and in turn we rake out damage like crazy. So, and this is really to help offset that. And then having them follow you around plus the second is just ugly. So mandate boards, super simple, super easy. The expedition is where it gets kind of crazy. They got like different, I'm assuming that these, like I ran both of them and they seem like the same difficulty. I didn't really notice anything between adept and veteran in difference. But, and I haven't found any.
You should have seen me in my prime. I was a real charm.
I haven't found any map pieces yet, so I'm still interested in figuring out what that is.
Let me guess. You want a contract?
And then right here where you can roll, so you click it, and these are modifiers that you're adding to your dungeon. So, enemy, you basically, now you have to pick the lesser of 2 evils, but you see at the bottom where they turn green, the whole level then gets 8% item quantity find, a higher rate of productivity, and I think it's by 20%, and 20% magic find. But then, do I want them to bleed when they potentially hit me? Maximum health is 53%. 79% duration of crowd control effects. I wonder what consists of crowd control. So we're gonna just pick that. So now it goes up, and I can do it again. You can keep doing it. You can click the add more, and it'll go up to 100, and then you can click on. Oh man, I already clicked it to send it. You can click on it until that red bar goes all the way up, and then instead of loot dropping in the game, no loot actually drops. There are random like encounters like throughout the game where dudes just show up because they think you're Billy BA and they want to fight you, which is kind of hilarious. Like, and they talk smack to you like, in the process. So this is exactly like a rift in Diablo. Where you'll see the yellow bar on the side, which slowly increases. I only want the boots. Yeah. through this until that gauge fills up. There's a dude down there and I didn't even know it. So this is the craziness of this build. Like the hitboxes are a little off.
It's not.
It seems like,
Gotta catch my breath. skadoosh. So the other thing I've noticed about these expeditions is that there's not very many enemies outside of like there's not an excess on the map. Like there is what there is, and the reason I say it like that is because if you just like rage through areas without like stopping, like there's a potential that you'll get to the end My
of
endurance is waning.
like where you're supposed to be, and you won't have had enough enemies to kill. And then you gotta go back and like find more. Basically try and kill everybody that you come across. Oh, man, that vortex is nice.
I can't do that.
It's so pretty. Ew. Like, look at that. Just, I don't want that. These, whenever you find these, try and go into them as frequently as possible. I know they're a bit of an inconvenience, but they're like the best way to find like the box is red. It means that there's usually something decent in it. And by decent, there you think that that gem is decent, but it's flawed. Not the standard name that I can buy. So, anyways, the reason that I go down into these is because it's the best place to find the golden bugs, and it's also the best place to find the fate, the gal who sells. She, as far as I found her 3 times now. 4, and she always sells a unique. And usually some pretty decent yellows. And she sells gems, but she sells them for primordial, and that's just stupid. Like, they're not anything different than like the ones that you can buy in the shop, and they're like she wants them for a lot. They're like the amount of money that she wants them for is not worth it. But unfortunately, we didn't find her. Oh, I also vortexing enemies is good now that I'm thinking about it, because I have a skill that boosts the output percentage. I guess I should go this way, huh? Boosts the output percentage of damage, I think by 4% for every enemy that's near me. I wish that I had a bigger scope of the map. Like, I wish this was smaller. I wonder if it's in the UI. There we go. There's a red dude over here. Now you see it. It's just like the Diablo, where the rift is completed. And now the boss is able to be challenged. Did I just get 2 past ult? Bowers, my buddy is going to be so excited. I've got like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 of these in my inventory already. Dude, this is awesome. So the Arabin's tier, you can find a piece of gear that's like really good, that only has like a 4, like this. It's got a 3 stat on it instead of a 4. I think 4 is max for these rare pieces. But like if you've got like something that's really good, and it only has a 3 stat on it, you can use the Arabin's tier to add a. It's dangerous. It's not dangerous. It's just it could be stupid. It adds a 4 stat to the bottom, which may or may not be good. That's how I got my crazy awesome. Great axe first. It was good before, and then I rolled like 18% to material damage on it, and then it was just absurd. Like it was level 30 by the time I just got rid of it, actually, like level 48 when I found all this stuff.
That's not happening.
So, this is the end of this expedition, and it's the end of my video. So, in conclusion, I jumped around a lot. I have ADD, so like shit just gets a little crazy sometimes. In the end of these expeditions, you like in regular rifts, Nephilim rifts in Diablo, you can choose to go down to the next level. And supposedly, I think things get a little bit harder. I went down 2 levels prior, and I didn't really notice any difference. But the productivity of your output is greater. So like you get more for going deeper, like the longer that you stay in the rift, but if you die, you get nothing. But flip side to that is I think that you get like the revival tokens, like you get 3 of them or something. So otherwise then you just say you're done, and then you come back to the map, and then you get a ton of experience and quest stuff. So it didn't take that much longer. It was maybe 5 minutes longer or 10 minutes longer than the normal one. And as you can see, we got 34 higher than our base, and the other one was like, what, 17 we said? So this is twice as good, I guess. I might come up with another video where I go maybe 2 or 3 levels deeper and see what the value is. And activity difficulty multiplier. Just, I don't know, random stuff. So, but, actually, let me show you this real quick. So, like that, you can click it. Chance for enemies to spawn weak enemies upon death. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. So this, pay for a modifier. So now look down at the bottom, it's another 20, so I don't want them to have engulfing. I don't care about elemental resistances. Players have, oh, forget that, yeah. So this, I don't use elements, send it. So now look, so now we're up to 40% magic find, 16% item quality, plus 25% productivity, and I want to do it again. Acid Rain champions have this one. So now we're at 60%, 24% item quality, 40% production, and you do it again. All champion specialists, tier enemies have an additional boss modifier. I don't know about that. Enemies have 34% more crit damage. Oh, resistance. Ooh, that might not be nice for me. But again, crowd control effects received. Is that like stun? Not too sure. I'm going to go with the crit damage because it just means I got to hurt him more, right? So check that out. So now we're at 80%. These are the 4 multipliers in this map. And now that that is there, this pops up. So once this bar fills up, you get 4 piles of crap. You can do this Lure Untainted, and it costs your primordial. That sucks. Flip side, there's no loot drop. Like, when you do this, dudes will randomly spawn, like they say some shit, like, I'm gonna kick your ass, and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. And then, in like a minute or 2, like there'll be like a boom, and this dude just pops up out of the ground and tries to start some smack. I don't know. I think when I ran it, there is like an assassin guy. He's the guy to watch out for because he does crazy crit damage, and he jumps you out of the blue like right off the bat, and he comes out of like smoke and shadows from the ceiling. So I don't know. It's crazy, but he's the guy to watch out for. There's a big dude, and I have no idea what he does because his animation takes so long to crawl out of the ground that he's dead before he can get out. I stand on top of him. He gets hit with blades. He gets nailed with like, I don't know, a couple 30,000 crits, and he's smoked. Like, he doesn't have time to do anything. And then I think there's like a wizard kind of guy. Like the blue ball wizard and blue ball. The wizard with blue balls, where he spawns them out in a ring around him and then they come in and collapse in on him. That's some shit to be careful of too. Especially when you boost this up and then you don't get anything because you died. That's obviously bad juju. Don't do that. And yeah, so you can fight these. So when you're done, you get a ton of experience, you get a bunch of gold, and you get like special, like I think like 5 weapons or something like that, or 5 items. Last time I did it, I got 5. 4 of them were yellow, 1 of them was red. Nothing special. Like, it wasn't anything to write home about. I got like a bow, which doesn't do me any good, but the fact that you can get a red, that's pretty cool. Because the reds have the additional blue text at the bottom there. There's 5 lines, I think, or 6 lines. I don't know. So, but this is how you basically would get all of that if you don't click this button, because you don't want to spend this, because it's hard to get 1,000. Like, from that run, I got 300. Like, this is insane. Like, why would I do that? But if you don't, then everything, you're going to get 80% magic find, 32% item quantity, so it's just going to be raining. Hallelujah. Hopefully it's good. And then your productivity is the big catch, because you can go deeper, and as you go, like, you're going to level up all the stuff in your buildings more and more and more. I don't know how deep do these go. I think that I saw somewhere that somebody was saying that they went to like 110 or 130. But they said at that area, like, you get crit for like, I don't know, like 90,000. And I'm like, that's 9 times more health than what I've got. So, anywho, hopefully you guys found something in this rather entertaining, or found some information useful. If there's questions about anything, let me know. Otherwise, Bot Chief is signing is out. Peace.